recording?
Budget?
Yeah.
Hold on, I mean.
Because I'm up on, yeah.
Should I just stop it or I start it?
Can you tell if it started or stopped, or I just push the button? I don't know. Oh, you're on. You're all good.
Okay.
I figure somebody's gonna want me to do this. Can you come back to the Just gotta pick it up a bit more.
No, why are you doing that? It just like blurred and then unblurred. I was like,
Probably because somebody walked.
yeah, it was just them, I think. I was like, no, don't do
Trying to refocus.
Give me a heart attack though.
Hi everyone, welcome to our May Transmedia meetup. Good to see familiar faces and new folks. For those of you who have not been here before, the Transmedia meetup is a monthly meetup for transmedia practitioners, thinkers, enthusiasts, noodlers, however you think of yourself. Generally what we do is we'll do a main presentation, which today is Socks Inc. And then afterwards we'll do a quick pitch presentation that we call 5x5s, which is essentially you can bring something you're working on, an idea, a pitch, something you need feedback on, something you want to tell us about that you think might be useful to our group at large. And we'll give you feedback. So today we have one of those after the Socks Inc. presentation. And I'll let Mike, who's my co-organizer, do the intro for our lovely Socks people.
Excellent. Thanks, Diana. So before we move on to the presentation, just a couple of things. Information about the wireless is on the screen. Our meetup URL and our streaming URL is posted as well. If you're going to be tweeting, please use the hashtag TransmediaNYC. And please do follow us on Twitter at TransmediaNYC as well. We also have a growing Facebook page, and you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/TransmediaNYC. And lastly, if you do take photos, please feel free to email them to hold01saying@photos.flickr.com, and we'll post those as well. So without further ado, we're really excited to have Jim Babb and Julie Coniglio of Awkward Hug. Jim and Julie are regular members of the Trans Meetup, and we've been really eagerly following the work that they've been doing, and they're here to present Socks Incorporated. Just to give you a brief intro, Socks Incorporated was born from the idea that there should be an alternative reality game for families that is casual, fun, and scalable. In this browser game, players must complete real-world missions with their sock puppet avatar and submit multimedia proof. You've heard of World of Warcraft. Well, this is World of Sockcraft. So without further ado, Jim and Julie.
Hi, everybody. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do that the whole night. I thought about it at one point. So, I'm going to give you a little introduction to myself and where we come from when we're making transmedia. So, my name is Jim Babb. I kind of discovered transmedia through experimental film. This is one of Stan Brackage's work, if you know. And it came from my passion for trying to I guess break the fourth wall with film, starting with one medium. I was really trying to experimenting and sort of creating new ways of communicating. And when I discovered transmedia, it was like, oh, you could do this same type of thing, but you could do it all over the place. So that's why I moved to New York. I work at a place called Undercurrent. We're a digital strategy firm where I'm a strategist and a mechanics specialist. And we'll get to exactly what mechanics means in a second. One of our projects that actually kind of fits into the bucket of tonight is the Ford Focus Rally, which was a 5-week-long rally all across the United States where teams competed against each other, and there were live streaming challenges and all sorts of exciting content. I urge you to check it out. That's a conversation for another night. What I'm here to talk about is through my company, Awkward Hug. And Awkward Hug refers to the awkward hug, the embrace of digital and the real world and that weird kind of gooey place that's there. And we make games in that space, and that really excites us. Our first game was Must Love Robots. And if anyone's familiar with that, I heard a clap. It was a sort of an alternate reality game, more traditional than Socks as we get into it. But people were going all around New York City, being able to date this robot here, who was really just a cardboard box. So, you know, from the beginning, we were always focused on make-believe and imagination. And it's Socks Inc. I'll be talking about tonight. But first I want to talk about the theory behind Socks Incorporated, and sort of everyone has a different approach to transmedia and how they that approach sort of dictates what they make. And you just search hashtag transmedia on Twitter, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Everyone's got their own definition. So now we're going to talk about mechanics, and this is for the back end, like how do you actually build a story playground? When most people talk about transmedia, and they refer to story as the big, overarching, encompassing thing, and I totally agree with that. But I think something that we miss is that how does that actually work? How do people interact with it on the back of it? So I like to think of story sort of as a playground where the different media that you use through transmedia actually sort of rub off on your story and provide different paths through it. So in this here, the O of your story, your big, whether it's Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, I hope we're all making that type of story. The O is an example of, let's say, a television show through your story. So it leads the user through a path through it. The slide may be a book, and that leads a person through another part of the story, and they each have their own sort of message that they bring along with it inherently by being different media. So we've known this before. Marshall McLuhan said the medium is the message, meaning that the way that we tell the story, the method that we use, actually rubs off and leaves a little bit of itself behind when we tell our story. So going back to that slide, if we're telling a specific user going through our story, say, what would be an example? Like the first Star Wars. So the slide is that point from the beginning of Star Wars to the end of Star Wars, and they head through that on a path. Well, the media leaves a little bit behind, so that actually dictates. Because broadcast television, if the show's being shown, broadcast television, it has these rules that go with it. So that would be something like you can't interact back with it. You can't go backwards up the slide. You can only go down it one way, because on television, that's just how those rules work. But today, things are a little different because we've had this digital revolution that's happened, and platforms no longer are decided by these hard-bound rules. Digital technology is a little bit like Mexican food, where it all has the same ingredients, but we don't really, so nachos are, let's see, that's chips, cheese, and beans, where a burrito is tortilla, cheese, and beans, and the tacos, beans, tortillas, and cheese. And that's exactly what digital hardware is. Well, let's see, the iPad has, you can surf the web on it. It's got a touch screen. Well, the Zoom's got a touch screen. You can surf I think you can surf the web on the Kindle. You see, it becomes very difficult to define exactly what a platform is by the hardware itself. Now we're dealing with where the mediums and the platforms no longer impose their own rules. Instead, this is our playground now. We can kind of go anywhere we want to, and that's a little terrifying. The medium itself is no longer the message. The mechanic has become the message. The rules now are with the software we develop, with the specific things we put, since an iPad could do anything, it's up to us to define how our story is going to be told through it. What are the additional rules we're going to do? We just can't, a regular video just won't cut it anymore. So when I talk about mechanics, that's really just a fancy pants rig for rules. So what are rules, and how do rules work online? Since that's all software is, it's just a series of rules. Well, they define the thing that they are. So Twitter is defined by its use of 140 characters. It's a blog, but it's a little tiny one. Where Tumblr, on the other end, is a blog, but it's defined by the ability to reblog. And WordPress is defined by the fact that it's open source and that you can customize it in any way that you want. Okay, so that's good for software makers, but everyone in the room is asking, how do we use it to tell stories? Well, and why is it important to stories? Well, mechanics actually carry with them, just like the original medium is the message carrying a part of the medium along with it. The mechanics, they trigger emotions, okay? So, think for example about chess. This is the classic example of how mechanics and stories kind of work together and don't. When you think about chess, and you think about the rules behind it, well, there's these rules of a pawn moves this way, a knight moves this way, and when you and I play together, we follow these rules. We agree to those rules. But what it actually does is it creates emotion there. It's all of a sudden we're like really competitive against each other, or really contemplative. It's contemplative. We're contemplative, and it's really about you versus me, and whoever's actually better at chess is going to be the person who wins. And so that's the mentality. So when we try to slap on a story, say The Simpsons, which it's not really contemplative or serious, it's silly and vulgar and filled with family values. That doesn't work. When you sit down and you play the game of chess, you're not playing Simpsons, you're playing chess, which has a totally different attitude. Yeah, you can pick up the totem and play a little bit with it and have a good time and pretend that's Lisa, Marge, or Homer. But when you actually use Homer as his rules define him, he moves in a different way. And so that's an example of story and mechanics not really working together. So when we use mechanics, we want to actually think about how our mechanics and our stories sort of work best together. And it's when the emotions of our mechanics, how they inherently make us feel, and our stories sort of go hand in hand together. So, what rules govern the sock? What rules govern the sock puppet? Well, sock puppets are made by themselves. So you got that like DIY mentality thing going on. You have sorry, I'm a little mesmerized by this myself. So you have this built-in mechanic with how you play and how you make a sock puppet. So Awkward Hug, we were already thinking about how people do something without a game already. Like, people are already making sock puppets. There's thousands of people making sock puppets out there that have never even heard of Socks Incorporated. So we wanted to tap into an existing behavior and build a game around that. Sorry, I'm getting an incoming call. Hello? Sorry, I can't hear you. You really shouldn't be interrupting me right now. I can't hear that puppet talking. Hi there, sir. Oh, hey, Chimp, why are you interrupting me?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, great. How you doing, man?
Well, I was doing good till you called.
What is that supposed to be, man? This is the best part of your day when you see Jim Babb.
Well, okay. Well, if you're gonna be here, I might as well introduce you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my distinct pleasure to introduce to you Champ, the Sock Sports superstar.
You don't need to introduce me to these people. Are you kidding me? I'm the greatest sock sport athlete in the world. They know who I am. They probably see. You know what I was doing today, Jim Babb?
No, what were you doing, Champ?
I was modeling for Sports Illustrated Sock Suit Edition.
Okay, what can I do for you? What's up?
Well, as you know, I'm starting my new movie. I've been shooting it all week, and I feel like I need an agent, so I thought maybe you could help me out.
Oh, I certainly would love to. I'm really good at that type of stuff. Let me think. So you're trying to restart your career, you know, and
Not trying to restart. I'm just adding another career. That's how the champ does.
Okay. So let me think. We got a brand here. Let's see. Champ, Sock Sports superstar extraordinaire. Okay. Champ, he's freshly washed.
Is that really the best you have to offer? You know what? It sounds like there are a lot of people there, so maybe one of them can come up with a better idea, because you clearly aren't doing it.
Okay, well, that's a good idea. There's a lot of really creative people out here in the audience. So, if anyone can actually help Champ come up and rebrand himself, the first 10...
Especially if there are any female socks, I'd love to hear what they have to say.
I bet you would, Champ. So, if the first 10 people that tweet a tagline for Champ and with the URL Socks Inc., we can offer them a Socks Inc. official badge. So just let us know if you do it. Raise your hand, and I'm sure one of the other awkward huggers will come over and give you a hug. So Champ, while we're waiting for them to do that, I heard some interesting news. I was watching 60 Minutes the other day, and I saw something about you and Lance Armstrong.
He never put me on, man. He never put me on. That man never wore me.
I heard you've been artificially softening.
What? Are you kidding me? Those are rumors and they're untrue and unfounded. I can't believe that you're part of this, Jim Babb. You're supposed to be my friend, and now you're perpetuating these rumors. You know what, Jim Babb? This conversation's over. Kiss my lynch.
So, that's a little taste of Socks Incorporated for you. Let me give you a little bit more here. Dive into, this is our intro video.
Hi there, and welcome to Socks Incorporated, the factory where we make believe. My name is Gina, and I'm your tour guide. Socks Incorporated is located in the heart of Salisbury, started by Mr. Beauregard Barnesworth.
Thank you.
Socks Incorporated is now the largest employer of sock puppets in the whole world. We here at Socks Incorporated make believe, which is contained within everything from toothbrushes to laser beams. We are currently accepting applications. So, how does it work? Well, Socks Incorporated is a video game, but it's a game unlike any that you have ever seen before. Rather than playing with a video Incorporated has countless missions that send your sock out into a world of storytelling adventures. Like taking a picture of your sock eating their favorite food. Mine is a quart of milk. That's tasty. Round 2, please. Take your photo or YouTube video and enter it into the Socks Incorporated site to complete the mission. After completing the mission, your sock unlocks more adventures, stories, and badges. Let's get started. All you need to do is sign up and get working on that puppet. See you inside. That is, if you can get hired.
So Socks Incorporated is the factory where you can make believe, and that it came out of this idea that when people, play with sort of these story worlds, say Star Wars, for example, that not only are you not, you don't necessarily recreate the same story in your mind. So when a child, you give them a toy, and you're like, here's this Darth Vader action figure and this Luke Skywalker. You're not going to necessarily recreate that scene. You're going to go off and make your own news stories. But they're based in this world with these tropes that we have. And Socks Incorporated is designed through some mechanics to basically give the player free rein to make believe with their sock puppet avatar. Which just a side note here, we have tons of photos and people playing with sock puppets, and there's something really, really magical that happens when you put on a sock puppet. Your face almost always mirrors like what the sock puppet's doing, and it's just like having that avatar, that like real world avatar, allows you to do things that you never thought you would do in public, like sock puppet wrestle or other just silly things. So this is sort of the Socks Incorporated mechanic boiled down to 3 little bubbles. So we've got our main story. We have which has Mr. Barnsworth in it and a bunch of other characters, which I'll show you on the site in just a second. But also we have these side stories, which are these departments, and between them that sort of builds out our world. And then player-generated content is what the player actually does with their sock puppet. And so our stories inspire them and then also invite them to play. So I'm just going to show you a little bit of Socks Incorporated right now. Feel free to ask some questions as we go through this. That's a little big. Didn't we get their badge yet? Want to send out a tweet or... Oh, no. Raise your hand. Julie, give out the badges. Okay, so this is sockseek.com. All the believes in me. So you just you come, you sign up. You can do anything you want with. We have Facebook, or you can create your own account. The game is 13 plus. You have to be 13 to be on Facebook, and we're dealing with a lot of user-generated content. So a lot of it's based around being 13 years old. At least whoever's on the primary on the account. We know that a lot of our content is really geared to a younger audience, but they need to have an adult that plays with them. Seriously, you can interrupt me with questions if you guys have some.
What kind of guidelines do you have for parents?
What kind of guidelines? We have a whole set of community guidelines of like what exactly is allowed on the site. We try to follow sort of the MPAA sort of PG content. Some of it's a little edgy, and we're definitely looking at exactly defining those more. And that's, this is the beta side. I'm going to preface that. This is the beta side. We're really interested in something that Lance talked about last week, which is sort of story R&D. That we're looking at iterating on this, and like we're getting tons of user feedback and looking for ways to grow and ways to expand our world. So this is my profile right here. You can see my character here. This is he's the Sockculation from the Jersey Sock. You can see he's showing off his ad there. It's a little small, but so over here you can see this is where my progress is mapped, and what level I'm on, and those sort of things dictate what type of content I can see. So if I go to the factory map here, you see all these different departments that we have. So this is the main department up at the top. That's Gary's story inside Mr. Barnsworth's office. So you can see what's going on here. We have a bunch of socks that have already submitted videos. Down there, this is player content. So what they do is they would come here and they, anyone who wants to play, watch this little video. So that's Mr. Barnsworth. And they watch this video and it builds out our story world and like invites, creates this ridiculous world where sock puppets have, it's not an iPhone, that's a banana phone, you can see on the side. And invites players to then, at the end of it, record your socks video cover letter. So once you do that, you upload, and that's what these socks down here have already done. They unlock the next mission in the series. So you can see here's some socks, and these are all shareable. Of course, parents can restrict public content. So if you don't want your child's content out there, you can restrict that. All of our videos are on YouTube, so you do have to make it public on YouTube in order to use the site. But besides that, you can keep the rest of your content private, including a profile and a profile picture. So we can go to a profile here. This is another socks profile. This is the video that we made. So let me show you a bunch of the cool socks we have. So we have a whole tutorial on how to make a sock puppet. And you can see we just have a whole bunch of really crazy cool socks here. This is, of course, kind of Sockula. Not right now, not in the current version. In our phase 2, we're having a whole bunch of we can't have comments because of the pure moderation. Because every bit of content is pre-moderated, so we didn't want to have to deal with having to moderate comments on each other's videos. But we do have this way to sort of we call it buzzing them, and you can give each other badges depending on what you like about a certain video. So if you think it's funny, click the funny button, and so people will try to players, we encourage them to try to get all the different badges by exploring their different storytelling ways.
But does some of the user-generated storytelling influence the main story at all?
No, it actually doesn't. No, that was one of the things that we had gone into talking about the back-end mechanics. Is like we wanted this to be the last game that we ran, Must Love Robots, was a 3-month thing. It's highly dynamic. You could go out on a date with the robot, and you would show up in a web series as going out with the robot. And the problem is that's just it's not scalable to we had only a certain number of people that could actually participate. This way, tons of people can play, and they can see each other's responses, and you already see like everyone has different socks that they're doing. This is DJ Sacco. He raps, so his raps really good. I'll show you his raps. So this is a player that made their own rap. So I should say why I'm on this map. These are all the different departments. So there's a main department that has our sort of main story, and then these other ones we sort of ask other players to come in, the other game designers to come in and like make a whole department. And a department is a series of 6 videos, each one of those with a mission at the end of it. So let's take a look. The R&D department is not research and development; it's actually rap and drums. So this one's a little bit more challenging. So we haven't had many users do it yet. So to preface this, the mission is at the end of it, download this beat. So we provide an MP3, and you download it, and you make a rap to it. So.
DJ Sock, yo, I'm the freshest sock you could ever know. When I'm in the clubs, all the socks on my beats. Look both ways before you cross the streets.
Excuse me, if we have questions, we'll give you a microphone.
So I'm just wondering, have you incorporated any educational tasks at all? Because like in that one, like there's just the potential to teach musical rhythm and things like that. So there's a lot of potential with that. Do you have any plans for that?
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking at exploring using SOCs and creating specific missions and departments for teaching in the classroom. As one of our routes, we're having teachers write lessons plans. One of our departments already kind of plays with that, and that's the waste management department. And this one involves a lot of like recycling. And so you can see here that everyone was required to get 10 items that they didn't use and put it together. And then later on, each mission then takes those 10 items and makes you envision them in different ways. So this is the first mission. So just show 10 items that you don't use and you probably just throw away. And the next mission is take these items and start grouping them into categories. And there's playful elements like categorizing them by things that get ruined when they're wet, or things that might help you dream better. And so there's a little bit of playfulness, but then it's also teaching through it as ways to use different things. And we definitely want to explore that deeper and even working with teachers to create whole custom departments for their classrooms. So that's something we're looking at later on. So this is the main side. Another thing that's coming up in phase 2 is you'll be able to create your own department. So any player that hits a certain level will be invited to not make a whole blown out six video department, but make one mission that other players, but they can make as many as they want. So they just record a video and select what the mission is to successfully complete it, and they get uploaded, and other good people can play. So we're blowing out all the new departments all the time, and we're always looking for creative people to help us make those. So, in fact, that kind of brings me to the next steps. At least my sister isn't calling. Toggle back to non-nerd. Thank you. Sir, you could have asked that. You've been nice. Okay, so this is sort of, you've seen the site as it is right now, and it is a rough beta because we do want to test. We believe really highly in play testing every single thing along the way. So before we even started working on the site, we did these live events where we have a bunch of kids come and make sock puppets with their parents and send them out on missions and sort of photo scavenger hunts. And so we learned a lot from that, and like what works, what are good types of missions, what are fun, and we're continuing to not only do work on our storytelling, but also on our back-end mechanics by adding those features like the buzzes, because it is fun it gives you a reason to watch other people's and to make better content because you want people to come watch yours. So as far as where we see this is going next, right now virtual children engaged in virtual worlds. Last year was 270 million. And estimated by 2013, it's going to just blow up. So we're looking at trying to be in this space, and we think we have a really interesting and unique offering by doing something that actually is in the real world. You see this trend in games right now. Get off the couch, do your Connect. This one's the same type of thing, but now you're actually storytelling and you're actually making physical things and making videos. So we are looking for people to help us make it. For partners in all sorts of varieties. So the big next push for us, besides the website, we're looking at making sock puppet making kits. Sock puppet making kits that actually sell online. This is just a rough comp that we had thrown together. But so that would actually fold up into a box. We wouldn't sell it like that. But inside that would be dreams. Inside it would be everything you need to make a sock puppet, and would also unlock things online. Additional videos, additional missions that only the person who got this sock would be able to do. The rest of the site is always free for everyone to play, but we think that this is awesome for retailers. That here you go, you already sell sock puppet making kits, but this one has a whole online world attached to it. So this is an example of our live events that we've done. That's an installation that we did at O1 SJ out in San Jose. And then this is an example of one of our live events where people actually made puppets and joined our new hire list at the end. So we're looking at finding partners to help us run these live events and to sponsor them, to at least provide the sock puppets. After you bought as many socks as I have, they start to get a little expensive. So we really want to just keep going with that, and even start charging for them. You come, you pay. We don't know what the price point would be, $10, $15. You make your sock puppet, you play a couple missions, things end up online, and you walk away, and you are already set up to play online. So we, of course, have the badges. Real world avatars mean real world merchandise. You want a hat for your sock puppet? You want badges? We have, of course, the digital badges that you'll be earning when people like your videos and stuff, but you'll actually be able to buy those and put them on your sock puppet as well, just like these ones that, if you tweeted, I'm sure you got them already. Of course, we're looking for, we're trying to make rooms for the right types of brands. We're really sensitive to not just blowing this thing out, selling off everything, but we do want to, we've been doing this project. I guess I didn't mention this earlier. This was all funded through Kickstarter, so this is bare bones grassroots project to this point, and we're really looking forward to now that we have something to show. We're like, hey, we did this thing with the sock puppet thing, and it's got this little tiny face. You want to help us make it really big and be a part of it? So we're looking for people that want to play with us. And then, like I said earlier, all my creative peeps in the room. If you guys know a little bit about video, know a little bit about hot glue gunning, you are okay in my book. Come chat with me. So that is it. That's Socks Incorporated. You can find me on Twitter. That's probably the easiest way to contact me. Or it's Jim@AwkwardHug. And Socks Inc. is there. There are lots of sock fun tweets if you like that sort of thing. And Awkward Hug is our official one as well. So
awesome. Are there any questions for Jim? Any additional questions?
Yeah, it's not awkward hug. It's awkward hug. Although we do make alternate reality games, so maybe I should pick that one up just to be careful. Awkward. Yeah, no. I'm sure whoever is awkward hug out there would probably be a little weirded out. We can talk questions about it.
Hi, I thought your project was very interesting, and I do cartoon voices as a little fun thing. But what motivated you to do Socks Incorporated? I don't know if I missed that.
Well, it came out of a learning from the last ARG that we did, where there were some problems. One I mentioned earlier that in most a lot of transmedia projects, it runs for a set period of time. So if you missed out on that 3-month window that it was open, it's just gone. Right now, you can go to Socks Inc. right now, and it's the same game that it was when it launched a week ago, and it'll be the same, a better game when you come, 2 weeks from now. So we're looking at continuing to build that. So that was sort of that idea, that mechanic we wanted to build into it. And it just made sense then if we're going to have something like that, that we would want to make it easy for players to play. And it's hard to get in front of a camera and like act silly or participate in the story more than maybe like a response or a click to vote, you know, your American Idol text in. So we wanted to lower the bar as far down as possible, and that's what the sock puppet avatar lets you do. You're able to, everyone's got a sock. Everyone can make a puppet. Maybe not the best one, but we're not judging. And come on and play. So that's what the mentality was on it.
Jim, we've got a question from the live stream.
Okay.
Hi, Jim. This is from Networker, and they want to know: did you deliberately pick the term sock puppet for both its traditional meaning as well as its more contemporary meaning of indicating a deceptive online personality?
No. No, I didn't. I mean, I know that traditionally especially in the ARG community, there's always this, for those of you who don't know what a sock puppet is, in ARGs, it's when whoever's the designer of the ARG pretends to be a player in order to move the story along and do that type of stuff. So, which no one likes. So, anyway, no, our sock puppets, Networker, are playful, and they will not deceive. Is that fun?
Is there a question over here?
Yes. How are you planning on people finding out about this? Like, I'm an 8-year-old kid and I want to play.
That's an excellent question. We've done some outreach already. I mean, our numbers for the site in the first, we launched last Thursday. I haven't looked today, but we've had about 10,000 uniques already to the site, with some decent signups out of that. I think we just need to, and I still feel like we haven't hit our target within that. I feel like I'm reaching out to people who are in this room that are more tech savvy, and I feel like I haven't hit the mommy bloggers yet, and the people that I think will really get behind this and find the joy of, hey, bring the kids over, we'll all do this thing together. And how we're going to try reaching them, that's it. If you've got some ideas, I'd love to hear them. But mainly doing PR outreach to the mother blogging community.
Have you gotten in touch with TV in the classroom?
What's that?
People who do TV in the classroom?
No, I haven't.
They are always looking for new stuff. I'm sure that would be, if you're looking for like interactive teaching ones.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of it. We haven't tried the educational resources either.
They will throw money at you.
No, I don't.
That's like one of the things, especially, and they're really looking into getting into, like, because everybody uses a computer now when they're kids younger and younger.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that they're always willing to look out for.
Absolutely, and we do see a huge potential in sort of teaching storytelling through multimedia and media literacy. So we'd love to reach out there. It's just we have such a small team; it's very hard to reach everywhere.
I don't remember who the lead on that is, but there's like a whole. If you just look up TV in the classroom, they have whole programs that they do to like launch stuff like this.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll definitely take note of that.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Jim. And if anyone has any other questions, I guess they can see Jim afterwards. Thank you again. So we're going to go right into the next 5x5 presentation.
Okay, so our 5x5 presenter today, his name is Wale Ogundipe. He's a filmmaker, Harlem filmmaker, and a marketer, and his award-winning film, Mean Streets, will be playing at festivals this year. He's currently developing a web series about cock blocking, and is here to present a new idea of his that he would like your honest, candid, totally true feedback on, because that's what we do here, in a nice way, of course. So he has 5 minutes, at which time we will hear loud orchestral music, and then you have 10 minutes to grill him, suggest things, and see if you can make it better, make it into something that he can move forward with. He'll tell you a little bit about where he is in the phase of his development and what exactly the project is targeted to. Here he is.
Hi, how you doing, everyone? My name is Wale, and I just want you to imagine a show where the cool kids travel from city to city to eat, drink, and play. They share their experiences with the audience, and through video, and also through musical pieces, photography, comic strips, they tell stories. I really wonder what that would look like, and I'll tell you what it looks like. It's called Awesome Exchange, and it's a travel web series that gets groups, teams of people, the most interesting people on the Northeast to create their own travel segments and related content and have them voted on by the audience, have an experience on the audience. Really, it's, as a synopsis, we have 4 teams of 4 people come to the city from out of town. Each team would consist of a musician, DJ, an illustrator or cartoonist, filmmaker, or photographer, and a writer or journalist. And each team would be tasked with creating their own city guide based on pre-assigned locales within the city. And each team would produce a series of tour videos, a serial webcomic, music, and a series of short-form stories, as well as Twitter and Facebook content, Foursquare activity, and blog entries. And of course, all of the content would be tied in with each team's assigned locales. And then the cool thing about it is that you could actually, and if you want to travel to that city, you could retrace the steps of whichever team with your cell phone by tagging into online. And the audience would vote on each team's individual categories of content: video, music, webcomic, narrative, etc. And the team and individual winners would get prizes because there has to be some sort of incentive. And users would retrace the team steps with their cell phones, as I said before. And why? Why do this? Because it's about time that there be some sort of new twist on travel. And it's also a great opportunity for people who consider themselves tastemakers, and of course they'd be vetted in some sort of way, to really showcase themselves and on a larger scale. And also, it takes you to cool destinations, and that's the greatest thing I love about travel shows. I actually I've lived on 3 continents, and I love to travel. I love to get out of any city where I am to another city and just see how other people in a city live. And I'm just what's next? I'm looking for collaborators to make this feasible for a low budget and to make it scalable, so nationally, regionally, worldwide. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. In terms of making it feasible, I'm looking for partnerships, collaborators, as well as grants and what have you. So, and advertisers, because it's a great travel opportunity and capturing the specific segment, the cool kids, the tastemakers. I'm really excited about it, and I just look forward to applying my filmmaking skills. And if that doesn't go so well, then you know what? I can always just pursue my other dream of being lucha libre. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. And the music didn't come on, so.
You have 30 more seconds if you want to add anything to that.
That's pretty much it. If I'm really ready for the questions, let's give more time for the questions.
Excellent.
It just seems like it would be like a brand ambassador program for like American Express or somebody like that.
Yeah.
You know, like that. I don't know. That's what came to mind for me. Like that. It just seems like a nice brand partnership.
So a couple questions. What's in it for the individuals who retrace the steps? Have you thought about that? You said that the teams might be headed, but the selection process, like on American Idol, the selection process is a major part of the show. Have you thought about that? And then following on the American Express, Hotels.com or any of the travel aggregators, I think.
All right, so you have two questions. One, what are the incentives for the people involved? I'd say, and what's your second question?
Well, for the individuals who are retracing the steps,
okay.
Motivated, why would they do it? And then have you thought about, you said that the teams would be vetted, but the selection process, have you given any thought to that?
In terms of, I'll start with the selection process. With the selection process, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I actually built this huge database of blogs, of tastemakers in various cities. And I really just use that same technique to really find the same sorts of tastemakers who would be the individuals behind this. And of course, there are more push methods than pull as well. So you could put up a Craigslist ad and what have you to really get people, to attract people. There are some really interesting enclaves. For example, in DC, there's Brightest Young Things, and there are just a lot of other different communities within the cities in the Northeast. That's where I wanted to start small. Getting back to your question about retracing steps, I think that the opportunity for the people retracing steps is that there are two aspects. There's the aspect of lining up the content that the people produce from the competition with the experiences that they have. So just a sort of comparison, as well as potentially having like some sort of some sponsorships from local restaurants or from other or major brands in terms of, oh, if you go there, you're going to be able to get a discount on this and that. So, yeah.
Hi. You pretty much had me, it's very close. Okay, you pretty much had me until you got to the point where you described the groups. I got very, very excited, and then all of a sudden there was this amazing constraint that you put on the whole endeavor. And what I was thinking about were shows that were as popular as Dancing with the Stars. Dancing with the Stars takes somebody who really can't dance, but maybe they're appealing to the audience in some way, and they pair them with a professional. What I'm thinking is that if you took the group of people that you're looking at and didn't constrain them by being in the arts a priori, but allowed them to be whoever they wanted to be, you'll have a more natural link to your audience because they may be representative of the people who are watching. Then pair them with people who have those skills. Allow each team to be branded by some natural brand. So let's say you have a bunch of jocks, Nike, that makes sense. Maybe you have a bunch of party girls and it's, I don't know, Tory Burch. But each group has its own sponsor, and each group maybe represents something that people naturally are linked to in their own lives. By allowing them to compete, you allow different groups within society to represent themselves and to vote on what they like. And then, of course, there may be some sort of cross-balance between groups. It becomes both an interesting sociological experiment, and it opens it up to all kinds of people and doesn't restrict you to finding the tastemakers, but allows taste to be created by everybody.
Right. That's a pretty compelling way to democratize things. I will say that there was recently some research in Psychology Today saying why there are certain groups that don't designate themselves. For example, the enigmatic hipster demographic, which is hard to pin down because nobody calls themselves a hipster, but you can identify people who fit a certain hipster stereotype. So I think there are some groups that self-designate and some that don't, and maybe having people align with a brand specifically as opposed to aligning with a label first could be good. I'm just trying to troubleshoot. So, but yeah, I really liked your contributions. Thank you.
Anything else? Do you have any other questions that you'd like to ask to get some feedback from the group?
I think I'm pretty much good. If anybody wants to, oh, you got a question?
I don't need that. How do you pick the cities?
How do
you pick your cities?
Well, I start with the Northeast. Just start with what you know. Just because it's simple. You minimize the time that you have to put into due diligence, research, and yeah, you can find a lot of interesting things in each city, and it also cuts down on the cost in terms of travel.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So well, thanks again, JWT, for hosting us this month and the previous month. Really appreciate it.
Thanks to Ken and Alicia, who have been very kind in helping us put this together, and our lovely bartenders. Thank you.
So, a couple of general announcements. Our next meetup is June 28th. Scott Lindenbaum, the publisher of Electric Literature, will be presenting. He'll be talking about electric literature and also a new startup he started called Broadcaster, which is an application that lets people record audio stories tagged to specific geographical locations around the world. So that should be awesome. And then we've also got meetups planned for July 26th and August 30th, and we'll be sending more information out about those.
And just so you know, we're doing a kind of agency tour. Our next location will be Euro RSCG, which is downtown, further south. Join us hopefully in our next phase. And thanks again to our fairy godfathers. I see one in the back, Mike Manello and Brian Clark, who are helping us with our agency tour. And we have some exciting things coming up that we're going to be doing as a group. We can only say right now that you creators are going to have an opportunity to take advantage of our very, very rich and resourceful community. We're going to be doing some really fun stuff in the fall outside of the meetup itself. So if you have ideas, projects, transmedia things brewing, you will want to share them. So information will be available, we'll be announcing it at the next meetup. But if you had something that you were maybe thinking about working on or weren't sure or didn't have the resources, now's the time to start putting those ideas together because we're going to have something awesome coming up.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks.
Yes.